What'd you guys think of the Yeti SB-75?
Well, a person much, much wiser than myself once questioned, is the SB-75 the perfect sweet point between the 66 and the 90?
And he didn't have an answer, did he?
Because he doesn't know.
And I still...
I
think I know now.
Were you that
I think I
wise
know.
person?
I would call me an unwise person in all facets of life.
I'll agree with that.
But I do know that I enjoyed the SB-66 a lot more than the SB-75.
I was fooled by the SB-75. I assumed, I didn't look into it much. I just assumed it was a mid-sized wheel 66. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was just bigger wheels. It actually turns out it's heavier than the SB-66. It has less travel, steeper head angle. What has it got going for it?
Well, it does have improved rollover. I mean, it's not a huge night and day kind of thing, but I mean that's just math. It does roll over.
I felt that only on climbs, though. I didn't feel any improvement going downhill. Like I feel way more confident in the SB-66.
That bike felt really unwieldy compared to an SB-66. I was really underwhelmed by this bike.
You see, I wish we had a 66 to run next to it. Because
I wouldn't be running next to it for very long, I'll tell you that. SB-66 would be on the horizon by the time that thing's picking its nose.
Well, you know, when we started with the 66, I remember thinking it's a good bike, but it was a bit sluggardly compared to a lot of the competitors. This is back in the Bible we did in North Carolina a couple years back. And then the 66 Carbon came out, and that bike blew my mind because it was like a full 1.5 pounds lighter in the frame, right? But, I mean, I also made a point of not looking at this bike either, looking at the stats. The only thing that came to my mind was this bike is heavy. Right, and it is. It's with the dropper post, which isn't how it comes. With the dropper post, the reverb is like 30 pounds, which is a lot for a 130 bike. Which also kind of struck me as odd. You know, like has about the same amount of travel as the 29er. Yeah. Which is kind of weird. Weighs about the same as the 29er. It doesn't have the rollover 29er. The benefits weren't really clear, but I think I had a hell of a lot more fun time than you guys did. You guys don't seem. I had a good time on the bike. I guess I'm friggin' stoned, and maybe I need to run the bike next to the 66, but I thought it was pretty good. I still like the way the switch technology works. I think it's a great rear suspension package.
I agree with that. I mean, and I did have a good time on the bike, but it was good. It's such a lovely day, and the trails are so fun. But I would have had more fun on the 66.
Yeah.
Like I kept trying to clean those really steep climbs, and Simon, you know, God, it was frustrating.
So you got dusted, it's totally the bike's fault.
Yeah, it's totally the bike's fault. It couldn't be me.
No.
Well, I did it on a 29er by another company.
But I don't know, like just comparing the SB-66, the aluminium, to the SB-75 aluminium, the 75 is almost 1 pound heavier, and the frame only.
Yeah.
Okay?
With less travel.
With less travel, and as Steve
not that big a gain in wheel size, right?
I would, yeah, and you might say, yeah, science rollover, it's going to be better, but I think it's so negligible that you wouldn't go and disadvantage yourself with the weight penalty and the other lack of travel. When you can get the Superbike 66,
which is
look at the price of it. This thing, I had it down, looking at the notes that you didn't see, $4,900 for the bike we're testing at the moment. Okay, that's cool. Like you could get a carbon version, exact same build kit, the SB-66 carbon, for just under a grand more. But you could go down in part spec and get for $4,700. Same fork, slightly less part spec, but you could get a carbon SB-66.
Yeah, I'd go that route too. You know, the one thing though that I'm wondering is, because I wasn't in my mind comparing it to the other Yetis. I was comparing it to the other bikes I rode that day. And I liked it more than all the other bikes I rode that day. So is our standard too high? Are we comparing it to the best of Yeti?
Well, I think you kind of have to. When you're looking at it from the consumer point of view, you kind of have to. Because if you're in that camp, you're like, I need one of these bikes. People, need to know that. Like I think we're going to keep coming back to this with the whole 650B equation. Is like, what is this, smoke and mirrors, or is this real? I mean, if you want what a 26er does best, you should get one. You should have a 26er and a 29er. If you're a mountain biker, you should have both.
That's a ballsy statement.
And yeah, and maybe you shouldn't even have a 650B. Okay, I said it. And Dan's gonna have to cut it.
No, you should not. I don't think I have to cut it all. I think I don't think there's anything wrong with 650B, but I don't think it's better than 26.
Me either. What do you think, Seb?
I would go for an SB-76 over this bike because that is the
or
bike
an
that should be
SB-95. I would
against.
as well. Exactly.
Are we split?
I'd like to ride them back to back again. That's where I'm at on it. But I hear what you're saying.
It's not a really bad bike, but it's not as great as the SB-66.
Deflation.